Hello kids, I hope you are fine. So look at this picture. What can you see? We have drivers and their truck stranded in flood waters in Morocco on the 22nd of November 2014. That was happened 5 years ago. Let's read this article. Days of unusually heavy rain pounded Morocco's south and unleashed deadly floods that killed 32 people, the country's interior ministry said on Monday. Near the southern city of Galmim alone, 24 people died, with 11 bodies recovered from a valley which is normally a dry riverbed that be turned into raging torrent by flooding. TV footage showed swiftly running waters from the wet Talmud darts cutting across a highway, leaving cars stranded in the middle and people taking refuge on top of their vehicles like we see here on the picture. In several cases, the water swept away old intercity taxis, and the local press added that many of the dead and missing came from the same families caught in vehicles carried downstream. The Army and National Police rescued 214 people, including 40 by helicopter. 2 French nationals were also rescued. That was from the Guardian.com. So, as you see here in the picture and in this article, that was a very terrible disaster. And people live different disasters all over the world every year. And our theme today is a disaster. Our theme today is a disaster on your pupils book, 4th unit, page 36. Look at these pictures. We can guess that they are or they were living a terrible disaster. First of all, what weather words can you remember? We can remember clouds, rain, snow, lightning. Okay, now listen and take the weather words you hear.
Pupils Book, page 36. 1. Listen and tick the weather words you hear.
That was amazing!
It was really scary as well.
Oh, now we've got a great project for our e-zine. Disasters!
Yeah!
Well, hello, children. Are you getting warm?
Yes!
Can you tell me what happened?
It was hot and sunny this morning, so we decided to sail to the small island for a picnic with my dad.
When we were sailing to the island, the sky went dark.
Were you listening to the weather on the radio?
The radio was on, but we weren't listening to the weather. We were listening to music.
Why didn't you go back to the beach?
Because we were very near the island. We decided to wait there for the weather to get better, but it didn't. A storm started.
We were walking up the beach, looking for somewhere safe to stay, when lightning hit the boat and it caught fire.
What a disaster!
We couldn't leave the island, so Dad had to phone for help.
At first, the phone didn't work, but then he tried again, and it was okay. Whew.
Were you afraid?
Yes!
But it was really exciting when the helicopter came to get us.
Yeah,
that was
great!
So from the audio we listened together, we found that these kids faced a disaster in the river. So it was a lightning which caught the boat, and the helicopter saved them, came to save them quickly. Now we are going to listen again and say who said it. Okay?
Pupils Book, page 36. 2. Listen again. Who said it?
That was amazing!
It was really scary as well.
Oh, now we've got a great project for our e-zine. Disasters!
Yeah!
So that was Alvin who said it. He said that we've got a great project for our e-zine, disasters. So they are going to talk about disasters on their e-zine, school e-zine, okay?
Well, hello, children. Are you getting warm?
Yes!
Can you tell me what happened?
It was hot and sunny this morning, so we decided to sail to the small island for a picnic with my dad.
When we were sailing to...
So we decided to sail a small island for a picnic with my dad. Who said it? Of course, it was Sherry. It was Sherry who said it. Listen again. To know who said this sentence, when we were sailing to the island, the sky went dark. Listen and find who said it.
the island, the sky went dark.
Were you listening to the weather on the radio?
The radio was on, but we weren't listening to the weather. We were listening to music.
So now we listen to these two sentences. When we were sailing to the island, the sky went dark. Who said it? Yes, it was Alvin. Alvin said it. And this one? The radio was on, but we weren't listening to the weather. We were listening to music. That was Dan. Yes, Dan said this sentence. Now let's read the fifth and the sixth sentences, and then we are going to find who said them. We were walking up the beach, looking for somewhere safe to stay, when lightning hit the boat. The sixth one, it was really exciting when the helicopter came to get us. Now listen and find who said it.
Why didn't you go back to the beach?
Because we were very near the island, we decided to wait there for the weather to get better. But it didn't. A storm started.
We were walking up the beach, looking for somewhere safe to stay, when lightning hit the boat and it caught fire.
What a disaster!
We couldn't leave the island, so Dad had to phone for help.
At first, the phone didn't work, but then he tried again, and it was okay. Whew.
Were you afraid?
Yes!
But it was really exciting when the helicopter came to get us.
Yeah,
that was
great!
Okay, so we found that Sherry said this sentence. We were walking up the beach looking for somewhere safe to stay when lightning hit the boat. And Dan said it was really exciting when the helicopter came to get us. All right, so number 1 we said Alvin, number 2 Sherry, number 3 Alvin again, number 4 Dan, number 5 Sherry, and number 6 Dan. Okay, read and match. Read and match. They were sailing to the island. They were waiting on the island. Their radio was on when the storm started. They were walking away from the boat. They were getting warm. In the other side, we have they were waiting on the island when the lightning hit it. When the sky went dark. When the reporter arrived. When the helicopter came, but they weren't listening to the weather. Here we have to match the two parts. So for example, number 1, they were sailing to the island. And the other side we have yes, they were sailing to the island when the sky went dark. They were sailing to the island when the sky went dark. So 1 with C. We have to think about the others and say the right answers. So we are going to do them together on the live meeting, okay? But look at this box. Were you listening to the weather on the radio? We weren't listening to the radio. We were listening to music. So that was in the past. But here, as you see, we have the past continuous. We have an ing form, listening, okay? Were you listening? We have an past continuous tense. So which an activity, a long activity that was happening for a longer time. We weren't listening. This is the negative form. We were listening. This is the affirmative form. Okay? So the past continuous is formed by the simple past of the verb to be plus the verb with the ing form at the end. And we use this tense for an activity which was happening for a longer time in the past. Now move to the second page, page 37. Now, fourth exercise, listen and complete, check and think. In this box, we have many verbs with the ing form. We have to put them in the right place. Of course, it was in the past, means the past continuous. So now we are going to listen and complete this together.
Pupils Book, page 37. 4. Listen and complete. Check and sing.
What were you doing when the storm began? When the lightning hit and the waters ran? Where were you when the rain came down? On the mountain, at the beach, in the forest or the town? I was walking up the mountain, he was skating over the lake. We were playing in the park, she was eating a piece of cake. They were swimming in the river, he was sailing on the sea. She was climbing up a wall, I was sitting under a tree. When the storm began, when the lightning hit and the water ran? Where were you when the rain came down? On the mountain, at the beach, in the forest or the town? What were you doing when the storm began? When the lightning hit and the water ran? Where were you when the rain came down? On the mountain, at the beach, in the forest or the town? On the mountain, at the beach, in the forest or the town?
So I was walking up the mountain. He was over the lake. He was skating over the lake. We were in the park. We were playing in the park. She was a piece of cake. She was eating a piece of cake. They were in the river. They were sailing in the river. He was on the sea. He was swimming on the sea. She was up a wall. She was what? She was climbing up a wall. I was under a tree. I was sitting under a tree. Now let's write them together. I was up the mountain. Listen and do that.
What were you doing when the storm began? When the lightning hit and the waters ran? Where were you when the rain came down? On the mountain, at the beach, in the forest or the town? I was walking up the mountain, he was skating over the lake. We were playing in the park, she was eating a piece of cake. They were swimming in the river, he was sailing on the sea. She was climbing up a wall, I was sitting under a tree. What were you doing when the storm began? When the lightning hit and the water ran? Where were you when the rain came down? On the mountain, at the beach, in the forest or the town? What were you doing when the storm began? When the lightning hit and the water ran? Where were you when the rain came down? On the mountain, at the beach, in the forest or the town? On the mountain, at the beach, in the forest or the town?
Great, that was our song for disaster units. Now, Look at this sentence. It's a question. What were you doing when the storm began? So here we have two actions. Were doing, past continuous, and began, simple past. So we have two actions in the past. One past continuous and the other simple past. Why do we use different tenses in the same sentence? Because the first one here, were you doing, it's a long activity. It's a long activity during a longer time in the past. But the storm began was suddenly came, okay, and interrupted our first activity. Look to the second sentence here, when the lightning hit and the water ran. When the lightning hit and the water ran. So those two actions were in the past, simple past, because they came suddenly. Lightning hits, and the water ran. So it was really rainy. I was walking up the mountain. So this is the past continuous. I was walking. It's a long activity. We cannot just walk. It's not a sudden activity, but it's a long activity in the past. I was walking up the mountain when the storm began, when the lightning hit and the water ran. I was walking up the mountain. The same thing for the others. So, two different activities. One is longer and the other one came and interrupted our first activity, which was longer. I hope it's clear for you. Let's move to the second exercise to see if it's clear. So what were you doing when these things happened? Write 3 sentences. Each one of you have to write 3 sentences using these information or these expressions. Look at the pictures in the same time. For example, I was having a picnic when it started raining. And look at the others pictures and look at the expressions. Try to match two expressions with the picture from these pictures, okay? To form a sentence like this, which contains 2 activities, one in past continuous and the other one in the simple past. I was having a picnic, which is a long activity during a longer time in the past. I was having a picnic for 2 hours or 3 hours, for example, when it started to rain. So it started to rain. This action interrupts our first activity. That's why we used here this simple past. I think it's clear. We are going to discuss this on the live meeting together. Play the game, guess it in 5. So this game also, we are going to do it together because we have to interact with each other, and use, of course, the simple past and past continuous. So take care and see you next time. Goodbye.